Viewers, and welcome to another episode of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. News, events, and stories abound in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased, and factual reportage is the driving principle for this program, in order to bring government activities to the doorstep of the people. Now, let's go through the highlights of today's reports. In Kano State, analysts lauds Governor Abba Yusuf on educational reformation. In the FCT, Tinubu urged to accede to Labour requests. And on business, NDIC commences liquidation of Heritage Bank. World nationwide strike. WAEC examination unaffected. We will take a short break, and when we return, we go straight into the details. Stay tuned.
So no agreement with the EU, but
every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honourable
You human trafficker.
Honourable
Welcome back to Government and Public Service Reports. Now to the stories. At least 2 persons have been confirmed dead after a gas tanker exploded at the Obirikwere axis of the East-West Road in Port Harcourt, River State. The explosion happened about 9:30 a.m. Tuesday morning, which forced many residents to scamper to safety. While the cause of the explosion is not yet known, the police in River State is yet to make any statement on the matter. Details of the explosion will be provided in our subsequent bulletin. Still on the same item, River State public analyst has lauded the Ijaw People's Congress of the expression of gratitude towards the Federal Capital Territory Minister Ezenwonye Sonwike for his support towards Sir Simlaye Febra, the Governor of River State, during and after the 2023 general election. Speaking on Atlantic Television Open Conversation, Jackson Ojo, a public affairs analyst, stated that gratitude to the FCT minister was not out of order.
You see, if we don't people today, if they are applauding the former governor, I don't think they have done anything bad. Even me, a Yoruba man, I'm applauding the governor. That's why the fact that I'm not close to any one of them. But I applauded him for him to have struggled, tried, a lot of people fought him.
Also speaking, Jackson Ojo said the Ijo group could have done better by ensuring a swift reconciliation between the incumbent governor of the state, Sesimilare Fibra, and the now FCT minister, Ezenwo Nyesom Wike.
This group would have been able to bring former governor of River State and Sim Fubara, would have been able to bring them together. I think with their numbers, they have the capacity to bring these two people together. Because you are thanking the former governor on behalf of a young man that became the governor. And the man that you are thanking on his behalf, you are not working with him. So that means this one is very, very one-sided. So to me, instead of all this jamboree, I think it would have been good for them to talk to their Ijo brothers in Fubara and bring him together to settle the problem.
Recall, the Ijo People's Congress have expressed gratitude to the immediate past governor of River State and FCT minister, Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, on his effort to support and present the Ijo man to the people of River State as the governor despite all fracas. There's more news, but don't forget you can connect with us and watch us on ATN socials. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website on www.atlanticnetwork.tv. The Nigerian Medical Association Akwa Ibom State Branch has impeached Professor M.M. Abraham as chairman alongside her vice, Dr. Anikan Utuk, for alleged misconduct. Secretary of the NMA Akwa Ibom, who has assumed role as acting chairman, Dr. Unsenobong Morgan, disclosed in media briefing held on Monday at the Doctors' Mess, Uyo, that both the chairman and the vice chairman were impeached on Sunday at an ordinarily general meeting of the association. However, reacting to the development, the branch public relations officer, Dr. Uyumi Ndo, dismissed this, saying the impeachment was false alarm by a section of the association he described as desperate to grab power by all means. On the justification of development, Dr. Morgan explained it had to do with administrative problems, noting those who moved and seconded the motion for the impeachment as the Congress cited gross misconduct in the administration of the NMA and anomalies in presentation of reports of committees, especially financial reports. Dr. Morgan alleged Professor Abraham, whose tenure lapses next month, July, was at the meeting when the majority voted for her impeachment, stressing people are not happy that an association of this repute will not be able to present reports that is acceptable to anybody, anywhere. 4 days after the killing of 5 soldiers by gunmen at Obikiabia Junction in Obo Hill, Aba, Abia State, residents of the city are still afraid of reprisal by soldiers. Though Governor Alex Oti had, during a security meeting with the military authorities, vowed to smoke out the killers of the soldiers and urge residents to go about their duties without fear of molestation, residents of Obikiabia area have continued to relocate to other areas. Others are still afraid of arrest by the soldiers. Our ATN correspondent reported the soldiers alleged to have invaded some areas where they arrested some suspects. The soldiers also invaded Izuku and Ongwa Road markets in the city and ordered traders to leave. Some roads in Obo Hill area such as Ehere, Umola, Ukaebu, Ururuka, New Umahia and Obikabia roads have witnessed less traffic as residents have remained indoors. ATN observed that soldiers had deserted all the military checkpoints located at Emelogu Junction, Bata Junction, and Asa Road. It was also alleged that passengers were being humiliated by soldiers who barricaded the Arongwa, Umuika, Isialangwa, and Intiga junctions along the Aba Umahia section of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. A motorist who gave his name as Sunny told ATM that the humiliation of the passengers by soldiers has been stopped, noting that at the Aorangwa, Umuika, Isialangwa, and Intiga junctions on the expressway, the passengers are ordered to alight and raise their hands before passing the barricade. The Arongwa junction was completely blocked and motorists passed through local routes. He also said that the situation is gradually easing off, except at Umuika junction, where soldiers are still forcing passengers to raise their hands. The Commissioner of Police in Anambra State, CP Inahe Itam, has ordered an immediate investigation into the lifeless body of a newborn baby found in a sack near a refuse dump after Aroma Junction, along Ifiti Road in Oka, the Anambra State capital. Passerby in the area suspected that the baby must have been dumped alive, apparently by its mother, who did not want it. According to them, it was heard crying for several hours in the night before the bag was found in the morning. The situation was said to have generated dust when a commercial tricycle operator picking up passengers near the scene was almost lynched for nearly running over the bag, apparently unaware of its content. It was gathered that it took the intervention of some security operatives in the area before normally returning to the scene, as people watched the development in dismay and disgust. In a statement on Monday, the state police spokesman SP Tochuku Ikenga said preliminary investigations revealed that the baby was abandoned by yet an unidentified woman suspected to be the mother, adding that the body has been recovered. The sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Anambra State, Adoyi Irioluyi, has confirmed that no fewer than 3 persons died in an accident that occurred on Sunday when a truck lost control and rammed into 2 tricycles at Oba in the Onitsha Owerri Expressway, Idemili North local government area of the state. Correspondent gathered that the fatal crash occurred at about 9 a.m. when the victims were said to be on their way to attend a Sunday church service. It was gathered that the fatal crash involved no fewer than 5 vehicles, including the tricycle and the truck. Sources at the scene who spoke with correspondents blamed the accident on some agents of the state revenue collectors, who, they said, stopped the 2 tricycles and were demanding loading tickets from them. An eyewitness who preferred anonymity told our correspondent that the heavy-duty truck failed its brake and lost control, noting that while the driver tried to control the vehicle, he rammed into the 2 loaded tricycles, thereby pushing them and some of the occupants into a ditch. The sources said while the truck pushed the tricycle and some of the passengers into the ditch, some of the victims fell off and were overrun by the truck. This account was also corroborated by some gory videos already trending online, showing where some of the bodies of the victims littered the road and where a voice notes that the tricycle were hit in quick succession because they were driving close to each other. The incident caused the gridlock along the road as a crowd subsequently besieged the scene, while the affected vehicles blocked a major. Some local authorities were seen investigating the circumstances surrounding the accident and working to determine what the actions of the tax collectors were and how they contributed to the tragic incident. As of the time of filing this report, rescue efforts were still ongoing for those victims who were still trapped in the ditch, as some of them were hooked to the tires of the trailer. The sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Anambra State, in a short statement, confirmed the accident, added that the 3 persons had been recorded dead. He seriously warned motorists to desist from disobeying traffic rules and regulations by servicing your vehicles to minimum safety standard before plying the road, avoiding speed and driving with full concentration. Emphasizing that traffic rules were made to avert crashes, he enjoined users to drive to save their lives and the lives of others on the road. Operatives of the Lagos State Police Command have arrested a 37-year-old apprentice, Ayuba Ezekiel, for alleged kidnap and stealing. Ayuba was employed as a sales boy by the kidnapped victim Juliana Adama, a horticulturist. On November 24th, 2023, the victim's brother reported the incident to the police, alleging that he received a phone call from the kidnappers demanding a ransom of 10 million naira in exchange for his sister's life. This prompted a search of the victim's residence and garden, where Ayuba was found. Initially, he claimed to not know his employer's whereabouts. However, a further investigation revealed that he had been stealing from the flower garden, with goods over 2 million naira missing. Upon further questioning, Ayuba confessed to masterminding the kidnap, revealing that he had overheard the victim discussing a 10 million naira deal and shared the information with his friends, who agreed to kidnap her and give him a 2 million naira share. Despite his confession, the missing victim remains unaccounted for, and the investigation is ongoing to apprehend the kidnappers. The suspect has been arrested and arraigned. The Ogun State Police Command is currently looking for a hit-and-run driver suspected to be running over pedestrians on the Benin-Sagamu Expressway, killing a 22-year-old Elizabeth James, a female, and hospitalizing another yet-to-be-identified male victim along the Benin-Sagamu Expressway. Correspondents gathered that the incident occurred at about 9:40 a.m. on Sunday, just before a fuel station in Shagamu area of the highway. The Shagamu Police Division was informed by an eyewitness that the unidentified car was coming from Ijebu-Ode area of Ogun State towards the interchange at a maximum speed. According to police documents obtained by our correspondents on Monday, the 2 pedestrians were believed to be waiting for a commercial bus just by the sidewalk of the highway when the unidentified speeding vehicle appeared. The witness reported that the car had run the 2 pedestrians over and left them unconscious at the sidewalk before they could try to escape the fast-moving vehicle. A doctor on duty, who said to have verified that James, 22, had passed away, despite reports that attempts had been made to get the 2 victims to the hospital as soon as possible following the event. The spokesperson for the Police State Command, Omolola Odutola, confirmed the incidents to our correspondents on Monday, adding that an investigation into the incident had commenced. Worried by the resurgence of crime, the Ondo State Security Outfit, codenamed Omotaken, has yesterday launched Operation Safe Ground, even as it paraded 48 suspected criminals. Speaking at Korea, at the launch, the state commander of the Amotekun, Chief Adetunji Adeleye, lamented that miscreants and criminals have taken over the main cities. Adeleye said that the criminals boggle people's houses and take away their valuables whenever they go to churches on Sundays and when they go to work on weekdays. Speaking on the suspects paraded, the commander said that they have a cross-section of criminals arrested across the state, about 48 suspected criminals who had confessed to various crimes. Adeleye also noted that, in view of the forthcoming Ileya festival, the Corps will deploy 1,000 men across the state, especially at the borders, prayer grounds, markets, and other public places to guarantee safety of life and properties. Analysts has commended Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State for his resilience in ensuring a sustainable reformation in the educational sector. Speaking on Atlantic Television Blowout, Victor Nsiebe, a public affairs analyst, said the move for the Kano State educational reformation is laudable in the right direction.
What we are seeing here, he outlined it way back 2022 as part of his campaign promises. So him trying to fulfill it, I think it's a good one.
Okay.
And I give it up to him.
Meanwhile, Ekie called for a better academic curriculum that will focus more on problem solving against the usual theories.
Academic content of our educational system to be problem solving so that we can produce assets, not liabilities as graduates. Now, if the governor is talking about overhauling the educational sector in Kano State, I want to believe that it's not about infrastructure. It's not about building, because education has gone beyond building. It should be about the academic content. And I'm glad the stakeholders of education were involved, starting from the minister, other governors, and what have you. So I think what the governor should be driving should be the academic content.
In retrospect, Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State has declared a state of emergency for the education sector in the state. Yusuf said the decision would ensure quality education and accelerate efforts to improve the delivery of educational services across the state. The Yobe chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association MMA has dissociated itself from the ongoing nationwide strike embarked by the Nigerian Labour Party Congress, Labour Congress, NLC. The association's chairman, Dr. Abubakar Mala, told newsmen in Damaturu on Monday that the state's NMA is not part of the strike and will continue to provide medical services to patients. Mala added that the NMA's decision to distance itself from the strike was to ensure uninterrupted medical attention to residents. He, therefore, urged residents to go to the hospital to access care as doctors, nurses, and other health workers are available to attend to them. The father of the former Attorney General of Nasarawa State, Comrade Daniel Umaru Lagi, was kidnapped last week and has been reportedly killed by his abductors. Late Comrade Lagi, said to have been kidnapped on the 28th of May, is alleged to have been killed for refusing that ransom should not be paid to his abductors to secure his release. The body of the late Comrade Daniel Umaru Lagi, the father of the former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Nasarawa State, Innocent Lagi, killed by the unidentified gunman, is said to have been deposited in one of the hospitals in Akwanga, local government area of the state. Correspondents gathered that one of the suspects had been reportedly arrested in the area while the military personnel are said to be combing the bush in search of the suspected abductors of the late comrade. Efforts to get the reaction of the police could not be realized as calls and messages to the spokesman of the police command, DSP Ramman Nansel, could not be immediately responded to at the time of filing this report. The Joseph Sawan University of Agriculture Makati in Benue to protest an attack by suspected herdsmen. The blockage of the road prevented the movement of particular motorists. A resident of the area whose correspondent said that the blockage was to vent their anger on the attack by suspected herdsmen on the community. which led to various degrees of injury sustained by people in the community. The resident, who identified himself as Dave, said that the suspected herders invaded the community at about 1 a.m. on Monday and attacked people with machetes, knives, and dangerous weapons. He said that about 6 people were seriously injured and they had been taken to the hospital as some security operatives came to repel the attackers. As of the time of filing this report, the youth had vacated the road. Meanwhile, the special advisor to the state governor on internal security, Joseph Ha, confirmed the incident but declined further comments. Also, the state command spokesperson, Catherine Anini, confirmed the attack on the community and stated that the injured victims are receiving an undisclosed hospital. You are watching Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. We will go on a very short break, and when we are back, the story.
From the line to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on ideal stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all your bits on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on today, only on ATN.
People into the country amazing.
Honorable
Human trafficking.
Honorable they are not picking up.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us. Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very firmly war and the world economy.
Everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Mandala.
Why you ask? Because this road where
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all your bits on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
That is amazing. Honorables, you human Honorable, you understand.
Welcome back to Government and Public Service Vision Network. Now to the rest of our stories. A chieftain of the New People's Party, of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Ambassador Olufemi Ajadi, has called on President Bola Tinubu to accede to the request of the labor leaders on the new minimum wage in the country, save the country from collapse. Ajadi said the demand of the 494,000 naira minimum wage with the realities of today's economy, saying the sudden withdrawal of the subsidy on petroleum products and the attendant foodstuffs and essential commodities have made the labor unions' demand reasonable. He advised that prolonged strike may affect and collapse the economy, calling on the president to agree with the labor union and avoid prolonged strike action, which he said may bring about total collapse. Ajadi also warned against the use of threat against labor leaders, saying that may aggravate the already tense situation in the country. It can be recalled that the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi San, has threatened that the labor leaders may risk imprisonment if they go ahead with the strike. Fagbemi said 18 of the Trade Disputes Act requires a worker employed in 15 days notice before ceasing their services, and that any who did not comply or imprisonment of 6 months. Ajadi, however, advised the federal government that such threat is not in the interest of the union and the nation. The Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, Bennett Igwe, has deployed officers, including material and physical assets, across Abuja over a message broadcasted on the popular messaging application WhatsApp on Sunday and Monday claimed that there was a movement of bandits led by one Ado, a sub-commander of a notorious bandits leader, Boderi Yellow Mai 1 million. The broadcast message on WhatsApp read in part, "There is the movement of bandits led by Ardo, a sub-commander of Boderi Yellow Mai 1 million. They are coming from Kaduna State. The destination is Guraka and Kubwa Hills The security alert further urged security agencies to intensify patrols across location in and around the Bori area, Council. Reacting to the development in a statement on Monday, the FCT Police Public Relations Officer SP Josephine Ade said CP Igwe the General Equation Police see its efforts in the fight against insecurity within the territory. The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation said it has commenced the liquidation of Heritage Bank PLC. NDIC assured all that it would pay depositors of the failed bank 5 million naira in short deposits. The corporation's Director of Communication and Public Affairs, Bashir Nuhu, in a statement on Monday, said the liquidation is in accordance with Section 55 NDIC Act 2023. Without an alternate bank account in the industry to visit the nearest branch of the bank with proof of account ownership and verifiable means of identification. Earlier, the Central Bank of Nigeria revoked the banking licenses of Heritage Bank with immediate effect. Development followed the bank's failure to improve its financial performance, posing a threat to financial stability. CBN said the bank's management has been unable to stem the decline despite various supervisory steps taken by the regulator. With no reasonable prospects of recovery, the CBN has taken this action to protect the financial system and maintain public confidence. NDIC oversees banks to protect depositors, ensure monetary stability, promote an efficient payment system, and encourage competition and innovation. Though the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade on a nationwide strike, the conduct of the West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination (WAEC) by the West African Examination Council went smoothly on Monday. Candidates who were to write French language were able to do that without any hitch, despite the strike by members of the Nigerian Union of Teachers (NUT). The Public Relations Officer of WAEC, Moyo Adeshina, expressed gladness that the candidates were able to write their papers unhindered. This is just as the members of the Congress of University Academics, CONUA, have been directed to join the nationwide industrial action by the leadership of the union. Meanwhile, students in the public primary and secondary schools in Lagos State were on Monday disappointed as they got to their school premises to find. Speaking on the development, Lagos State Chairman of the NUT, Comrade Hassan Akintoye, no choice other than to join the nation strike. Kuda Microfinance Bank (OPay) have resumed onboarding new customers. The financial technology company announced this in a separate statement on Monday. They said the development comes after the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has authorized them to start enrolling users. Recall that CBN directed fintech companies support enrollment of the new customers on April 29th. This followed the federal government's efforts to address illicit foreign exchange transactions in the country, as well as operations of Binance and other cryptocurrency exchange platforms. In a ruling delivered on April 24th, a federal high court in Abuja granted an interim order to the Economic and Financial freeze at least 1,146 bank accounts belonging to individuals and companies over unauthorized transactions. An analysis of the 1,146 accounts blocked by the EFCC shows 90% of the accounts affected are operated by commercial banks. About 10% are operated by fintechs. OPay said it will strictly follow the approved Know Your Customer (KYC) verification procedures and urged its customers to ensure that they complete the verification process for all accounts and meet all requirements. Similarly, Kuda Bank announced that it will resume registering new customers this week. The company has been working with the CBN to fulfill recent regulatory requirements by putting more accounts controls in place. Kuda said customers' national identification number (NIN), bank verification number (BVN), and proof of address followed by address verification are required to open a Tier 3 account. In a bid to further strengthen its crusade against the abuse of Naira, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has announced a 5% reward for whistleblowers who provide credible information leading to the prosecution of offenders. Dele Oyewale, the spokesman of the EFCC, made this known in Abuja on Monday while appearing as a guest on the EFCC 97.3 FM Abuja talk show. Oyewale emphasized the Commission's commitment to enforcing the law and protecting the economy from the negative impacts of Naira abuse. He explained that the 5% reward is aimed at encouraging whistleblowers to come forward with information that will aid in the prosecution of offenders. He added that the EFCC has already secured nearly 50 convictions across the country since the inception of the task force on Naira abuse and dollarization. The EFCC spokesperson emphasized that rejecting the Naira as a legal tender is a criminal offence, and those found guilty will face the full wrath of the law. He noted that the Commission is working tirelessly to Nairalize the economy, as the widespread use of foreign currencies is detrimental to the country's economic growth. Oyewale also addressed the recent cases of Bobrisky and Cubana chief priest, noting that while Bobrisky pleaded guilty and was sentenced accordingly, Cubana chief priest's case is ongoing due to his not guilty plea. He emphasized that the EFCC's job is to investigate and prosecute while the court adjudicates. Leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress say they will go ahead with a planned strike action over the minimum wage as continued. Over the minimum wage will continue as scheduled. Leadership of the two unions confirmed this on Sunday, June 2nd, despite the last-minute efforts by the leadership of the National Assembly to prevent the potential economic shutdown of the unions. The unions said they will meet in order to take a decision on the appeal by the National Assembly to suspend the strike and allow for more dialogue. The leadership of the National Assembly and that of the Organised Labour (NLC) had held an emergency meeting to avert the proposed national strike. The meeting, which was held at the National Assembly complex, was presided over by the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, with the Speaker, House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, in attendance. Present at the meeting were principal officers, chairmen of various committees from both chambers. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Senator George Akume, led the ministers to the meeting, while the NLC President, Joe Ajoro, and the TUC President, Festus Asifo, led members of the Organised Labour. Akpabio, in his welcome address, assured that the legislative arm not taking over the job of the executive or that of Labour, pointing out that it will be difficult to negotiate with the unions while the strike is on.
Whatever agreement we come to will be mutually beneficial to all, the government and the workers. So we are all concerned. We are in the same shoe. We are wearing the same shoe, and we'll be very glad to have something that is workable. But we must also be mindful of collateral damage. I don't want us to, in the course of trying to arrive at a minimum wage, we end up with a lot of, serious issues of unemployment. Because as soon as we arrive at a minimum wage, we'll expect the private sector to also adhere. And then if they are unable to do so, the next thing will be retrenchment of workers. So we will look at the issues, and as we work on the tightrope, we must do the balancing act. So at this point,
and I'm sure some of you will recall what I said during the Independence Anniversary lecture. The one thing that this country and this government can do to eliminate corruption in the long run is to embrace living wage. There is no two ways about it. But we should also be mindful that the mistakes of several decades cannot be repaired within one day. It is going to be a gradual process. We have to start somewhere and then agree to a plan of what we can do to reach that level where every Nigerian worker can beat his chest and say, I am earning enough to put food on the table, enough to take care of my basics. So my own take home for all of us here is to say thank you, the organized labor, for even accepting to come to this National Assembly to give Nigerians and the government the hope that all is not.
Brothers, you are sisters, and everybody, you are constituents. So, and that is why we must all reason together to find a solution to it. It is not for any of the leadership here. It has to do with all Nigerians and the way forward on this. So we are quite committed to finding a way forward, finding a living wage, finding a survival wage, and not starvation wage for Nigerians. With that, I and my colleagues, we are committed to that. Thank you very much, sir.
Things have been really difficult. In the last 1 year, that difficulty has even further exacerbated. And that is why this year's minimum wage conversation is a bit tough, and it's a bit difficult, because when you are negotiating under a difficult environment, it's always very, very difficult. So this is a special minimum wage negotiations, and for us, it's been the last 3-4 months has been tough, and Nigerians are waiting for us to give them a wage that at least could assist them in paying transportation to work, could feed them, could house them, and clothe them. These are the basic necessities of life. Not even a wage to buy a car or a wage to build a house, but to meet the basic necessity of life.
The meeting entered into an executive session for them to brainstorm, but ended in a deadlock as the unions were insistent to go ahead with the strike action as scheduled. Nigeria Association of Resident Doctors has lamented the death of manpower across the healthcare facilities in the country. NARD made this known in a communique issued on Monday after its ordinary general meeting held in Kaduna on May 27th to the 1st of June 2024 with the theme Journey Towards Universal Health Coverage, Nigeria's status amidst financial crisis and epidemiologic transition. The communique was signed by the President Dele Abdullah, the Secretary General Dr. Christopher Anadu Aka, and the Public and Social Secretary Dr. John Igbe. The resident doctors said the manpower gap has resulted in high workload on their members in the country and asked the federal government to meet the demands of the organized labor. ATN learned that last week the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Mohammed Pate, decried that developing countries like Nigeria continue to lose their highly trained health professionals to developed countries that did not invest in their first professional education. Pate, however, said the country is taking responsibility and striving to rebuild the national health system, improve its governance, strengthen public health capacities, and unlock healthcare value. Meanwhile, in its communique, NARD noted that bigger health facilities are bearing the greater brunt of the shortage. They also raised concerns about the alarming increase in assaults on health workers across the country. They, however, called on the government to implement a cap on work hours to address overwork and burnout amongst healthcare professionals. Super Eagles will wear for the first time their newly designed home kits by Nike against the Bafana and South Africa on Friday. It will be an all-white design with trimmings of green. Finindis George's side will also wear for the first time the away stripes of green with touch of black in the match day 4 encounter against the Squirrels of Benin Republic in Abidjan next week Monday. The Super Eagles will look to secure their first win in the qualifiers when they take on Bafana at the Godswill Barbados International Stadium, Uyo. And they currently occupy second position in the group with 2 points from 2 games. The delegation of the Nigeria's under-17 girls Flamingos will fly into the Liberian capital Monrovia on Thursday ahead of the Sunday's FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup finale qualifying fixture. First leg encounter against the Liberian counterparts. To reach this stage, the 2020 World Cup bronze medalists dispatched their counterparts from Central African Republic and Burkina Faso with high goal margins. Central African Republic fell by a dozen goals on aggregate, while the Burkinabe girls were routed 7-1. Liberia, who ejected Senegal from the race, faced an uphill task against the nimble-footed Nigerian girls with coach Bankole Olowokere insisting that the Flamingos are determined to be in the Dominican Republic to have the opportunity to challenge for the trophy this time around. This is where we wrap it up on today's edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. Stay connected on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website on www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. I am Divine Bernard, thanking you for watching.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert